Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is a Sunday paper review. Normally it's in the morning, or at least recorded in the morning. It's now 5:45, probably not going to be up before probably close to 7 I imagine by the time I finish waffling and it gets processed and I do a thumbnail and release it and all that lot. So, should we kick off on yesterday? I suppose we're going to have to, aren't we? I'm a bit pissed off at the way the Jose Mourinho stuff was announced and released and all that lot. We were still filming fan cams at Wembley. In fact, let me... this is a GoPro, right? You know the vlog that we did for the semi-final? We did one for the final. And I've seen a couple of people moaning about me getting the goal footage. And wondering if I was filming all game and just standing there filming, or on my phone filming. This is what we use to film the stuff in the games, and you see that on the top, one button. It's a one button press, and they're tiny. So I held it in my hand for the entire game, and then I recorded 191 videos actually. It tells you on the screen. Anytime anything sort of kicked off, press it once and just hold it. And the beauty of the GoPro is that you don't need to be very accurate with your filming, because they've got such a wide lens that they get everything in shot. So you just sort of hold it, keep watching the action. Something pops off, then obviously you get a great video and great reactions like we did for the 2 goals yesterday. Did it at the semi-final, and I said I'm definitely doing this again for the final. And I've got some fantastic moments, not only just with Adam but some of my mates as well. So that's how we get them. That's how we got it. This is how most of the vlog, in fact all of the vlog, was done on this. So if you was wondering, that's how it's done. Not sure when it's going to be out. I imagine tonight, or at the very latest first thing tomorrow. So paper review. I've got a son. In fact, you know what annoyed me is I'm bouncing all over the fucking place here. I'm tired. I didn't get in till 3:30. So what annoyed me yesterday was doing the fan cams, and in the middle of all the fan cams, the news started to break. First at BBC, sort of confirming that Mourinho's held talks, or he's on his way, and this, that and the other, and then Sky, and then every fucker. And obviously we've got people standing around as the fan cams are being filmed on Twitter, talking to mates, getting texts. I got a couple of texts as well. And the mood changed from... it was a good mood, but everyone was like just buzzing about the win, talking about Lingard, talking about the game, talking about winning the cup and what it meant and how it feels and all that sort of stuff, and we was enjoying the moment that we was in. And then people started to take us out of the moment, and that pissed me off. I just wanted to be in that moment for a bit longer. I hadn't left Wembley, and I'm starting getting people questioning, what's this going to mean for United now? Is Mata going to get gone? What happens to Rashford? Is Fosu Mensah going to be in the squad? Like, I don't fucking know. And now I'm focusing on this rather than just living in the moment of the FA Cup win that I wanted to celebrate. So I was a little bit pissed off with that, and I've point blank refused to answer anyone's questions, like tweets or anything like that, where they've asked me what's going on. A couple of radio stations have asked me, and I've just said I'm not talking to you. I'll talk to you Monday, because I don't want to. I want to just celebrate this moment and be in that moment. And it wasn't the club, so we can't blame the club in this instance. But it's George Mendes, and George Mendes is a prick for letting this slip the way he did. Why not wait till Monday? Do you know what? Let Louis van Gaal have his moment. Louis van Gaal has been so disrespected this season by our fans, mostly by the media, and I'll illustrate that by the... I've got a Sun, I've got the Mail, and I've got something I've never bought before. The Football League paper. Now the big headline on that, as you can imagine, is the expansion thing, so I haven't read this one properly yet, so I'll get into that. And if there's anything in it, maybe I'll do a video on it. But a quick skim through it, seems like they're not happy with it. They don't think it's a good idea, which I will talk about right now, but only briefly. Is I don't think people thought the Premier League was a good idea when it came about. They're saying they're going to lose revenue because there's less home games for them to have. Well, the Premier League reduced numbers, and now look at the revenue because it's a better product that they're able to sell to television. So I think a little bit of foresight and a little bit of stop being the old boys networks that just doesn't want change and embrace it and see what happens, and I think you might surprise yourself. So as I've got the Mail, I've got the Sun, and this is a prime example, right? we've just won a cup. Too late LVG is what the Mail are saying, and in the first paragraph, Jose Mourinho's name is mentioned. The Sun have gone one step further. Special one. Obviously, the headline there about Jose Mourinho. So we can't get away from it. We can't even talk about winning the cup. We literally can't even let it breathe about winning the cup because someone, probably George Mendes, has leaked this shit. Meaning that now everyone's got to talk about this. The focus is off the FA Cup. The focus is now on Jose Mourinho. And that is the circus that Jose Mourinho brings. That was one of the reservations that I had about him coming in. As I've said, you can find all the videos on this, including the ones that the City fans fucking cobbled together to make it look like I was asked about Guardiola. You lot know the truth. You can see the unedited versions. If you go Pep or Giggs on Full Time Devils, you see me, Adam and Sam talking about Pep Guardiola, you'll know exactly what I said before the City fans chopped it. The reservations that I have had for Jose Mourinho and the reservations that I've had for everybody, I've said nobody is fit for this job. After seeing what happened with Louis van Gaal, I was like, there's no standout candidate. I'm just going to plug my phone in so this doesn't die, actually. I don't know what battery I'm on. That said, after seeing what Louis van Gaal has been through and the issues he's had in terms of getting a settled team, and this is a manager that come with pedigree. I don't think anybody is capable of doing this job. Or somebody probably is capable of doing this job. That's unfair. I don't think anyone is a standout candidate for doing this job, and that includes Guardiola and Mourinho. And there's question marks over Guardiola that I can't fucking wait to see exposed in the next 6 months. There's question marks over Jose Mourinho, one of them being this circus, the eye gouges, the club doctor thing, the way he brings everything onto himself. Now, some people might say that that's genius, some people might say that that's madness. It's a circus. He will deflect a poor performance by saying some absolute bonkers shit in a press conference. Fergie did the same. Fergie did it with a bit more subtlety than Jose Mourinho does. Mourinho does not do it with any sort of subtlety whatsoever. If you take a step back from it, it's blatant what he's doing. Poor performance, say some bangers shit. And I think a lot of the focus on the club doctor this year was because the team was failing and he thought, going to use this as a distraction. Really unfair, some of the shit that he said to her. And that's what we're getting. And the evidence is he's not even in the chair yet. And it's all about him already, when it should be about the team, the lads, and even the manager that has won the cup for us this year. Because it went from Louis van Gaal has had the hardest start to anyone's career that you could want. There was no honeymoon period, red carpet period, all this apology shit that Klopp's getting. Oh, it's not his team, and he's reached 2 finals that he's lost. There's this honeymoon period that he's averaging 0.01 points better than Rodgers, right? So he's a marginal improvement in the league and lost 2 finals. I don't know when losing finals was an achievement. Scousers seem pretty happy with that, though. Klopp's got a honeymoon period. Pep Guardiola's had the red carpet laid out for him. We'll see if that carries into... Well, if it carries into September, it's further than Louis van Gaal got, because Louis van Gaal got until the deadline day of his first transfer window as Manchester United manager, where he signed Falcao Di Maria, sold Danny Welbeck. And already that term, Galacticos, was being thrown around. He'd turned his back on Manchester United's heritage. The knives was out within a month of him becoming Manchester United manager. And when it didn't go perfect, everyone lost their shit. So, after seeing that with Louis van Gaal, I don't think there's anybody capable of doing it. And I don't think he's had a fair crack of the whip. Now, I'm not going to excuse this season. It wasn't good enough. But when you look at the reaction of the media to Manchester United and the reaction of the media to the other clubs, there's no parity in how they've reacted. We've drawn with City on points, missing out on Champions League by goal difference, with horrific injuries. We did sign a lot of players, and a lot of them players have had injuries. Luke Shaw's had injuries, some of them haven't settled, and it's been unfortunate. There's also been some team selection issues, and I think one of them, last night's, let's face it, Memphis Depay, a game-changing player that's not been great on the left, can't deny that, but has looked good in the couple of games that he's played up front. Him off the bench, for me, is an absolutely 100% better option than Ashley Young. We were saying it all the way through the game, as soon as he came on yesterday. Ashley Young up front. What's going on here? Ashley Young is up front for Manchester United. We call ourselves... Here's a line that got said yesterday. We aspire to be the biggest club in the world. And I think the way that we should quantify the 11 players on the pitch for Manchester United is asking yourself this question. Can you see Real Madrid taking them? And if you can't, then you have to question what that player's doing on our side. Because that is the level that we should be aiming at. Real Madrid, at the moment, are bigger than us. And they're coming in and taking our best players. That's a fact of life, yeah? They did it with Ronaldo. They sort of did it with De Gea. They're probably going to do it with De Gea at some point. And if you ask yourself, you go through that 11 of Manchester United, can you see them trying to take David De Gea? Yes, we know they've tried. Can you see them one day trying to take Anthony Martial? Yes. If Marcus Rashford continues this rise to fame, or Timothy Fosu-Mensah continues to have the impressive games that he's had in 2 to 3 to 4 years' time, not right now, but in 2 to 3 to 4 years' time, if they continue to the trajectory that they're on, can you see yourself, or can you see them, going to Real Madrid, or at least Real Madrid trying to buy them? Yes. Luke Shaw, could you see Real Madrid fancying a bit of that? Yes. Right, now ask yourself, are Real Madrid going to be looking at Ashley Young to play number 9 for them? Because they're not. And that was what we was resorting to yesterday in a cup final of all games. Can you see them looking to Marouane Fellaini? No, you can't. So that is my issue with those two particular players. I think people massively overhype their decent performances when they're probably just above what you would expect a player to be doing in a Manchester United shirt. Ashley Young is playing up front for Manchester United in an FA Cup final. And then, once Chris Smalling got sent off, that centre forward, the guy that you're trying to win the game with, is put at left back. So there's some selection issues that I have to definitely point the finger at. There's question marks over how many players was allowed to let go, and I don't put all that on Van Gaal. The wage bill was slashed by 46%. Now, when you look at that fact and you know what's going on with the Glazers and Woodward and all the rest of it, I wonder if Van Gaal has carried the can for club cost cutting. That's what I think is possible. So I won't give him shit for that. I do think the squad was mismanaged. I will definitely say the squad was mismanaged, and it probably should live and die with the manager. But I also think that there's other factors at play in terms of who we got rid of, the wage bill and stuff like that. And I think there was probably a lot of cost cutting going on. And I think one of the jobs that Louis van Gaal has had at Manchester United is that he's had to get rid of a ton of Ferguson's players that aren't good enough. And I think the job's not done yet. I think there's still several players that Sir Alex signed that need to be got rid of. And I think Phil Jones' time's probably up. There's a couple more. I think Carrick's gone. I wouldn't put him into the category of a player that you need to get rid of. Carrick should be having a testimonial this summer. I've not heard of one. This is 10 years. I do believe he's moving to another club. And it's a tragedy if he doesn't get a testimonial, because that is a player that's been a fantastic servant for Manchester United, overlooked by England because they wouldn't know a fucking good player if he stood up and slapped him in the face. But anyway, let's get into the papers. I've waffled already for 13 minutes and I've not even really touched the papers. So, which was the one I wanted to start on? It was this one. It was the Mail, wasn't it? So I just wanted to show you an example of journalists, even after Van Gaal has won something, against the odds, because we have been shite this year, against the odds, refusing to acknowledge what he's actually done, still, to this day. The day he's won something. Let me just show you this. So, the two things that you see, the two big features of... I'm showing you like this because they're advertising them on this page. So, the two big features that you see. Yesterday's man full of excuses, and Jose can get them to another level. Basically, taking jabs at Van Gaal already. Now, my own personal thoughts on Mourinho. I've sort of been sure he's coming since January, so I'm used to the idea that he's coming. But it's still very difficult to sort of plan ahead and think how this is going to go down. The media have been shit to him. Like, you seen him yesterday with the cup in the press conference, didn't you? And the press are still being scathing about him. And I think a lot of this is down to the fact that Fergie was such an arsehole with the press, and he got his own way with the press, and he bullied the press in many ways. And I think a lot of what's going on with the press is that they're getting their own back at Manchester United. City give them a load of access. City get a load of easy ride in the press. United don't give them a lot of access. United don't get an easy ride in the press, and they've also got a history of actually being pretty dickish with the press. So I think we're riding on the back of that a little bit. Mourinho coming in, obviously, is the huge news, probably overshadowing the cup win, sadly. Don't like the way it's come about. Definitely could have waited till next week. So I don't know what to say. Amazingly, Mourinho's gonna come in, and the redeeming factors of Jose Mourinho's one is his home record. His home record is unparalleled. Where he finishes in the leagues is ridiculous. Better probably only by Pep Guardiola, but there's a lot of question marks over Pep Guardiola, which I definitely think we're going to see. Now, let me just clarify that a little bit. One of the question marks I've got over Pep Guardiola is Jose cooked his head off, right? Guardiola's side was better than Jose's side, Barcelona, Real Madrid, in that time when they were both in La Liga. Guardiola got the better of Mourinho, but Mourinho on the pitch, but Mourinho fucking ruined him off the pitch. His press conferences, he was stressed, seeing his arse left, right and centre, snapping with reporters, snapping anytime someone mentioned Mourinho. And I know Mourinho is going to be straight for him. And like I said before, it's not just going to be Mourinho, it's going to be like Pulis, it's going to be like Sam Allardyce. It's going to be funny as fuck watching these get to him. Guardiola at Barcelona is a Guardiola La Mesa graduate, come into the first team, won the fucking lot as a player, retired, became the B team manager, did very well, became the first team manager, won the fucking lot with so-called best club side ever. Now, if you've got the best club side ever, there's an achievement no one has done in the Premier League era, and I think anyone who considers them to be the best club side ever needs to make this achievement to be considered that, and that is retaining of the Champions League. If somebody retains the Champions League, that is no fluke. That is absolutely incredible achievement, and there's a reason nobody's done it. Manchester United came very close, and you could argue in 2009 we probably wasn't the best team in world football, but we did come very close to doing that in 2009. There's been a couple of sides, Louis van Gaal's side in 96 being one of them after winning it in 95. The Barcelona side of 2009 and 2010, 2011, 12 era, that side was easily good enough to have been one that did replicate winning the Champions League back to back. But what happened is Jose Mourinho bullied Guardiola and made him quit. Now, like I was saying a second ago, he came through, academy graduate, that's his team. He is a Barcelona man, right? Barcelona man. This is the same as if we fast forward into the future and Ryan Giggs has done the similar sort of thing but won the treble with United. Then a manager comes along, chats loads of shit without even beating him to titles and stuff, and makes Giggs quit, right? Can you ever imagine, not just quit to take a year off and then go and manage somebody else? I have to question the bottle of a man who walks out on his own club like that. I have to question the bottle of a man that's able to walk away from being that close to able to call yourself the greatest manager ever and probably the greatest football team ever. He walked away from that to go and manage Bayern Munich, where he's won the league without trying. No, he has won the league, but he's won the league without trying. There's no way he comes to City and replicates what he's just done at both of those clubs. And I look forward to him having his head cooked. I really do. The Mourinho thing, like I've said a few times, was the worst kept secret in football. When it was eventually announced, I said everyone would go, yeah or no. And that's kind of what everyone did. It's like, oh, it's just been announced now. Well, yeah, we've been talking about it for so bloody long that I'm sort of bored of hearing it. And that's literally the place where we find ourselves now, just bored of talking about Jose fucking Mourinho. The summer's going to be absolute chaos in terms of the transfer rumours that come around and this, that and the other. The papers are getting giddy over themselves. The Manchester derby next year is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And we can't even talk about the fact that a homegrown boy has just won the FA Cup because of all this shit over Jose Mourinho. Am I happy we've got Mourinho? I don't know. I probably lean more towards the happy than not happy. I did want Mourinho as the guy post-Fergie to really get Fergie out of the system and completely overhaul the club, and I thought he would come in, maintain us being successful, and then move on, and then we would look to an eventual more long-term, more stable sort of character afterwards. But we've gone through 3 managers now, Mourinho the 4th, if you include Giggs, post-Ferguson manager at United. Moyes obviously took us down to 7th. Van Gaal brought us back into the Champions League. Didn't go to plan this year. Ton of injuries, ton of reasons why. Just 1 point somewhere would have made the difference and would have been in the Champions League and probably a lot more placated. Mourinho will win us something. Now, whether that's long-term good for the club. Now, I've said before, Louis van Gaal has left the club in a better state than when he found it. And some people have gone bullshit. Now, playing style-wise and entertainment factor-wise, obviously not. But if you think about what's in place now for the future, what's ready to be took to the next level, the likes of Luke Shaw, the likes of Anthony Martial, the likes potentially of David De Gea having signed a new contract, than when he took over post-Moyes. Post-Moyes, you'd already had the likes of Rio, Vidic, etc. all leave the club or announce they was leaving the club. Ryan Giggs' transition from playing staff to non-playing staff. The likes of Phil Jones and all that lot considered first choice best defenders. That's all changed. The club has changed dramatically in 24 months. Dramatically. And I do think it's for the better. And if he is kept on as a director of football, I don't think it'll work. I don't think he's the best option out there. But it's better than Ed Woodward. And I think there'd definitely be friction between Mourinho and Van Gaal. I expect that. But mind you, they have worked together in the past. Maybe they could do it. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where that ends up. But, yeah, there's going to be chaos next year. The Manchester derby next year has just become extremely significant in world football, I think. Because of the 2 sexy names now. Whether you think they are genuinely the best managers in the world, definitely up for debate. But they are 2 of the biggest, if not the biggest, managerial names in the world. That's without a shadow of a doubt. The Manchester derby is going to be very interesting, and do you know what? There's probably between the 2 of us going to be at least $250 million spent on footballers between now and September. It's about to get proper tasty in the Premier League. If we was going into our 3rd season with Louis van Gaal, I wouldn't have been mega confident, more intrigued. As I said, we've seen an evolution of Louis van Gaal's play every few months as Manchester United. Sometimes it's only slight, but there has been a definite evolution in his play. We don't play the same now as when we played in September, October, certainly December. There's been small evolutions in his play, and I think with another season, another pre-season, a couple more signings, we might have seen that further evolution. The problem is now you've got Mourinho coming in. He's going to want a boatload of cash. He's going to require a boatload of cash. Because whatever Van Gaal's plans was, Mourinho's will look different. And to implement those plans, he's going to need cash. And there's some players that Van Gaal signed that probably won't be part of those plans. There's some players that Moyes has signed that might not be part of those plans, and you know who I'm talking about with that, with Mata. I think Fellaini's gone regardless anyway, but Mata, that could go either way. I think he had a choice of Willian, Oscar and Mata, and he went with the latter, or the former, at Chelsea. He doesn't really have that luxury here, so Mata might find himself given a big hug from Jose Mourinho and him saying, sorry, maybe I should have kept you, or some shit like that, and they might kiss, make up, and one might be the best player for us next year. It's going to be very interesting to see how this comes about, because those who complained about Van Gaal's style of play need to think back to when Chelsea beat us 1-0 at the Bridge and we had 80+% possession. This is a guy that likes to park the bus. Now, United fans, if going off the past season and a half, shouldn't really be accepting of that, but we will see how many of those are prepared to put up with it for success. It is going to be interesting, and that's about all I can say about it, really. Not really read the papers there, have I? Sorry. But to be honest, there's fuck all in them anyway. It literally is talking utter shite about the United game yesterday, plus Mourinho, plus a little bit of Roy Hodgson selling everyone to forget past football teams and focus on what you guys can do. Now, on that, Roy's picked an awful squad. So, Jack Wilshere's played one more Premier League game than I have this year. I had a chance, ladies and gentlemen. I had a chance. If only I had played one Premier League game, I could have been in that squad. There was a better England squad out there to be picked. It seems like he's picked more on reputation than he has picked on actual playing ability and form, which goes against what he was saying. There's a couple of people actually talking up England's chances in the Euros. And half of me sort of goes, you've got a point, because teams who score goals are deadly in tournament football. And you can get away from having a shit keeper, you can get away with having a shit defence, but you can't get away from not having a good midfield. You need a good midfield and a good forward line, and you'll score goals. And if you can score goals, you can outscore an opponent, and you can get through games that you arguably shouldn't have got through. The problem here is we don't have that good midfield. We've got goal scorers. We've definitely got goals. Dele Alli, Kane, Vardy, and even Wayne Rooney will score goals at international level. But the midfield worries me. There's some good individual talent in the midfield, but I don't see a balanced midfield with, you know, a left-sided player and a right-sided player, and maybe a couple of different types of central midfield that are able to do a particular job against a particular team. I don't see that in this England squad. And I got to question the likes of Delph, Henderson, Wilshere being included in this squad. Like, what the fuck are they going to offer? I don't know if I'm going to the Euros yet. I'd love to go to the Euros, but I don't know if I'm going to the Euros. I am in France for D-Day. Probably not just going to be able to stick around for another week or so to stay for the Euros, though, I don't think. Might get over at some stage, but at the moment, it doesn't look likely, so I'll probably be covering it from here. I don't know. It's mad, isn't it? The England game's actually on right now. I have no idea or interest in how it's going. So there you go, that's the paper review-ish. Sort of just talked about Mourinho and United and all that shit in it, really. I'm going to try and get back up doing at least one Footy Manager video. I might just rotate through them. So my United one, my Salford one, and my Championship Manager one, because doing 3 in a week is just fucking impossible. I definitely want to be able to do that with FIFA as well. So, actually, should I rotate one every week? FIFA, Footy Manager, Salford and United, and Championship Manager. Then I've got a whole week to advance that game and get it recorded and edited and out. I'm gonna try and do that, I think. Shit, that's the end of the season. That feels mad, doesn't it? Oh shit, I hit 10,000. Forgot all about that. Thank you, every single subscriber. I have spoke about it in the past. I think I've definitely tweeted about it. That I set the 10,000 target because I was like, that's pretty unattainable, isn't it? So I thought I could do it probably in a year with like a load of graft. I've done it in 5 months, which has sort of fucking blown me away a little bit. I've said, like, where does this end now? Where do I take this? 10,000 feels like a significant milestone. 1,000's like, yeah, pretty good. 5,000's like, it's alright. 10,000, 5 figures, that feels pretty significant, doesn't it? 100,000, it's going to take a few years, I think, innit? If I can even do it. I don't know what there's going to be a threshold of you lot that are happy to listen to the sort of waffle that I do. So, where's that threshold lie? Is it at 12,000? Have we already peaked near enough? I'm going to set a target of 20,000 by Christmas, so I can keep working towards it. And we'll see if I can get it. And shit, if I hit 20,000, I don't know where I go after that. But yeah, 5 months, 10,000. I'm fucking delighted with that. did it well before D-Day. We've got 2 weeks to spare before D-Day. I honestly just didn't expect I'd be able to do it, so thank you literally to every single person. I am trying to commit to doing one a day. Oh, I'll tell you what happened with my FA Cup final preview. So I did it on a green screen. I took a photo when I was at Wembley of the United dugout, and I was going to do it using, obviously, it's a red leather chair, the same as the dugout seats, and I was going to put myself in the dugout on the seats in there. Yeah, my MMA video took like all night to render, so I couldn't do it. I had to be up early for the final. I didn't have time to do it and get it up and get it out and all that lot, so it will remain never seen. The EU in or out video I've recorded, but I'm sending it to someone for them to give me their opinion on it, because I'm not exactly happy with it. And that is it. So it'll probably be a gaming video at some point tomorrow. I'm on full-time review, so I might not get a chance to do it tomorrow. And then hopefully a video a day. Going to be all sorts of stuff. I don't know when my next football match is going to be. I've got the idea of doing the 92 stuff, but that's going to be start of the season when that all kicks in. So I don't know. We will see what happens. I'm sure there's going to be loads of stuff to talk about. The Euros, we've got the Olympics, we've got the Copa America. There's obviously Jose Mourinho stuff. Transfer news is going to start kicking in. Definitely going to be looking at who we should sign. Probably go through every single position apart from goalkeeper. Although I might do goalkeeper as well, actually, because I think there's a couple of decent shouts in the Premier League, and I'd like to be able to explore some players outside of the Premier League. So the two that I've got in my mind, the obvious ones in the Premier League, Schmeichel and Butland, and then I won't mind having a look outside of the rest of Europe somewhere and see if there's something else. Definitely just waffling shit now. There's 30 odd minutes. I'm gonna leave you lot to your Sunday. I haven't got a guest lined up for this week's podcast. Adam said he'll do it if I don't get nobody else in to do it, so it will be McCullough if we don't get anybody else in. So as always, go tag people. You'd be amazed how good the response is when you lot go and tag people and say come and do the podcast. Hope you enjoyed the last one that I did with Ian Edwards, and if you've not seen him, I hope you've gone and seen him since. That'd mean the world. Whatever. I'll fucking see you tomorrow on Full Time Review with Full Time Devils. See you in a bit.